We started 4 o'clock taking a look at this. Yeah, that's what a computer screen looks like. But this one is the FAA's website. That's because a ground stop has been issued at DIA. And if you can read that, you know how bad it is. The FAA is saying this is because of the wind. The stop began around 3 o'clock, but they're saying it might end in the next 15 minutes or so. The flight aware map, the misery map as they call it, showing 86 flights delayed. And whenever your airport is the biggest circle in the country, that's never a good sign.
You never want to be defined by the circle.
A big circle. There you see the flags outside, and you can see they're whipping by the Channel 9 studios, and some of the cars are whipping by too on Spear Boulevard. So warm, cloudy, showers popping up, and the wind as well. So let's get over to Kathy and talk about what's happening and what's coming our way.
We're tracking a cold front, you guys, and it's brought temperatures down out of the upper 70s into the upper 50s and lower 60s. It has brought wind, it's brought blowing dust, and it's brought a lot of problems out to folks at DIA this afternoon. A lot of people texting and emailing, asking what's going on. It should improve, I think, in the next half hour to hour as the front begins to move through. The temperatures today, 54 in Denver, 74 in Pueblo, 20s in the high country where we're waiting on some snow. Look at the wind right now. You think the circle of death over our state and our city looked bad on the misery map. Look at the wind over DIA. We've had 40 to 50 mile per hour gusts centered right over the terminals. So you can imagine why they would be experiencing delays and a ground stop scenario there. A red flag warning out for high fire danger over southern Colorado. This front is kicking up the wind. It's a tightly wound, compact little system, and we're going to see some moisture from it. We've had a little bit of rain, a little bit of lightning out on the far eastern plains, but Denver, before the evening is said and done, I think we are looking at a little bit of snow tonight, with some moisture really being a good thing after another warm, dry week. We're seeing the snow really pick up in coverage and intensity over the northern and central mountains. Advisories for wind off to the east. Heaviest showers, Greeley, Keensburg, out to Fort Morgan. A little lightning mixed in there as well. And here in Denver tonight, I think we get a brief rain shower, and then we get a little round of rain and snow, and then we kind of go right back over to partly cloudy skies tomorrow. So mid-50s now, winds decreasing, a little rain and snow, 7:30 to about 10 o'clock tonight. Coming up in Maine weather, it's an unsettled weather pattern. We're going to talk about it while we have snow to forecast. We also have high fire danger. And then who doesn't want to talk about the weekend? Tom's already been bugging me about that, and it's only Wednesday. So Kim, we should probably get into that too, right?
I'm always ready.
It started, I think, on Monday.
He did.
Okay.
Started last weekend.
All right.
Thank you, Kathy. They are 6 hours in, but there are still hundreds of people waiting in line at the Capitol. They all want to testify. This as state legislators consider a so-called assault weapons ban. So-called because Democrats are likely to gut their own bill.
The bill's sponsor says she plans an amendment that would change its original intent. 9 News reporter Cole Sullivan joins us live from the Capitol to explain why and what's going on. Some of this is a little bit of theater, if you will, Cole.
Well, there's definitely a lot of back and forth going on, Kim. Put simply, this bill did not appear to have the support it needed to pass in its existing form, but that didn't stop hundreds of people from both sides from showing up to testify today. So many people, in fact, that they had to move the committee hearing from the afternoon into the morning, and it's still expected to stretch into the night.
What's happened to our country?
This hearing is so full of people, there's an overflow room down the hall.
We urge you to support this measure.
So many people want to talk, the committee chair put a cap on comment at 12 hours.
I respectfully but firmly oppose this legislation.
So many people, all here for a bill that likely will never make it into law, at least not as proposed. Originally, the legislation sought to ban the sale of assault weapons, which it loosely defined as any firearm that can fire a high volume of ammunition accurately or can be modified to do so. If it passed, gun rights groups say they'd sue.
So please be aware, if you pass an assault weapons ban, our lawyer is sitting by with his finger on the button, ready to file this lawsuit before the ink on the governor's signature is dry.
But the measure never had support from Democratic Governor Jared Polis.
We specifically, looking at the data, believe that extreme risk protection order can work better.
With the bill's viability in doubt, its sponsor, Democratic Representative Elizabeth Epps, appeared to start the day with a last-minute reversal. She said she may gut her own bill by amending it to only ban bump stocks, attachments that allow semi-automatic weapons to fire like machine guns. An existing federal rule against bump stocks is under court challenge. But even if the bill won't advance as advertised, hundreds of people still wanted to talk. From law enforcement,
look at the person, because it is not the gun, it is the person.
To students,
because the facts are clear. Assault weapons are the weapons of choice for mass shooters.
to pediatricians.
We must stop the flow of deadly weapons into our state and our communities.
So many people here for a bill that's likely going nowhere. So at last check, public comment was expected to wrap up around 11 o'clock tonight. It began around 11 o'clock this morning. Representative Epps has not filed her amendment yet, so we don't know exactly what it says. But if it does ban bump stocks and gut all the existing language, House Democrats will have the option of passing an assault weapons ban bill that doesn't actually ban assault weapons. Kim.
Oh my goodness, that is complicated, but we know a lot of people really passionate and did want to speak, even though they kind of knew from the get-go that there probably weren't the votes to make this happen.
And we should be clear, Democrats led by Governor Jared Polis had other priorities on gun legislation right now, but that didn't stop all those folks from coming out to speak, including survivors and people who lost loved ones in some of the horrible mass shootings we've seen in this state over the years.
And we're glad they got to put their voice out there at the very least. Thank you, Cole.
A man who suffered serious injuries while being arrested by Aurora police testified today that he thought officers were going to kill him. It was day one of the trial of former Aurora police officer Francine Martinez, and a warning that the video of the arrest may be difficult to watch. Martinez now charged with failing to intervene in connection with the violent arrest. It all happened July 23rd of 2021. Martinez responded with Officer John Hobart on a call of trespassing on South Parker Road. Within minutes, Hobart repeatedly pistol whipped and choked the suspect, Kyle Vinson, and pointed a gun at his head. Vinson was unarmed at the time. Prosecutors say Martinez clearly failed to intervene during the assault, despite her legal obligation to do so in cases like this. Martinez's lawyer, though, says Vinson was fighting back during the arrest and that Martinez did not have an obligation to intervene. Today on the witness stand, Vinson said he was not fighting back, just trying to prevent Hobart from hitting him, and also said that Martinez did nothing to stop the attack.
Did you ever hear Officer Martinez say anything to Officer Hobart while the assault was going on?
No.
Did you ever hear her say to Officer Hobart anything like, hey, back off?
No.
Or, hey, take your hand off his neck, you're strangling him?
No.
No words that you heard at all from her to Officer Hobart, is that right?
Yeah.
Now I want to ask you about actions that Officer Martinez may have taken. At any point during this incident, did you ever see Officer Martinez attempt to remove Officer Hobart's hand from your neck?
Mm.
Did you ever see her attempt to stop Officer Hobart from pistol whipping you?
No.
Did you ever see her attempt to physically block Officer Hobart's ability to do that to you?
No.
Francine Martinez was fired from the Aurora Police Department soon after she was charged with failing to intervene. Officer Hobart resigned from the department after being charged with assaulting Kyle Vinson. Hobart's trial is expected to begin in November. Colorado enacted a failure to intervene law as a part of sweeping police reforms in 2020. It has now been 30 years since the 51-day standoff between the religious sect, the Branch Davidians, and federal authorities came to a fiery end near Waco, Texas. It was April 19th of 1993. It all started, though, on February 28th when ATF agents tried to arrest David Koresh for stockpiling illegal weapons. But Koresh and Branch Davidian members refused to leave the compound. A shootout ensued, followed by the 7-week-long standoff, the standoff ending in a violent confrontation and fire. 4 federal agents and 82 Branch Davidian members, including 24 children, all died. Today, April 19th, is also infamous for what happened on this day 2 years after Waco in Oklahoma City. It was in 1995 that a truck bomb killed 168 people. That bomb exploded in 1995 outside of the Murrah Federal Building. 168 died, including 19 children under the age of 6. Today in Oklahoma, 168 seconds of silence were observed at 9:02 a.m., the moment the bomb exploded. The names of the 168 victims were read by survivors. The trial of the bomber, Timothy McVeigh, was moved from Oklahoma City to Denver. He was found guilty and sentenced to death and executed in 2001.
Terry Nichols was also convicted in the bombing. He is serving a life sentence at the Supermax facility in Florence, Colorado. Being a school resource officer, it's a tough job. Even tougher if you have a silly nickname. But that is not the case for one officer using his job to build bonds and gain respect with students.
Ball Arena's rocking every night. About 4 hours away from tip-off tonight for the Nuggets and T-Wolves. Got a lot of hoop coverage coming up in our second half hour.